Right? Airplane mode, that works every time. Did you get the agenda? Yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna have a solve for all the Wi-Fi for you guys. Don't worry about it. Well, first of all, wow, that's fun. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Y'all gave me too much space right there.
We're gonna do runways here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm loving it already. Anyway, some of the stuff calling a kid, but I did spend about 8 years in Memphis. Does that count?
Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan. There we go. No, I'm a big fan of Nash Vegas, or as we all call it, right, from the outsiders. So here's a South Carolina kid now that lives in Minnesota. I got to show you my snow that's up to my mailbox today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting on the airplane back tomorrow. Proud South Carolina State University graduates, so HBCU grad, and then you did a couple more schools that people like, some people like schools and say, oh, where'd you go to after that and after that? But for me and the bios, I think we have up here, and we're gonna quickly go through this. And of course, you guys will have this. So thank you for the time today. Look, we love it. I love it because we're in better weather, So you guys will see a little, oh, look at that handsome guy up there. Y'all will see, yes, he is. No, so you guys will see that our agency did the work where we actually make sure all of our bios is in one Adobe Express. So don't need to really go through it because it is long, or you will see that I'm blessed to be with all these unicorns for me. But my name is Isaiah Reese. I'm the CEO of Appearing Global Institute. My background was corporate very heavily. Came out of South Carolina State, worked with great companies like PepsiCo. I was the youngest manager in PepsiCo history at 22 to run a multi-million-dollar organization. So very thankful for them. Stayed 8 years. They paid for that master. Not to pay for anything, thank God. Right? And moved up pretty quickly with them. I mean, over the course of 8 years, I ended up running close to $1 billion business for them. So really start understanding this consumer side, right? Because I think that's the end user. Well, people say end user, people say consumer. And I think it was really, really important that as we look at technology, as what you will see today, understanding who that customer is. And that customer is veterans. That customer is a reentry person. That customer is the juveniles. That customer, of course, are the CTE students and this new forward plant that's coming. And more importantly, that customer, in my opinion, or the end user, the only way you're going to get evidence-based workforce development outcome is if you're looking at different markets. That market is also Native American, or the DT, whatever you want to call it, it's the channel, the way we look at technology, and we're going to see that today. Great career for me. Pepsi, then Coca-Cola stole me. So I had both. But more importantly, I think what really got me interesting was when I started running a $3 billion business for M&M's getting in training and development. I realized Jeff Bezos once told me, he said, you choose your passion. You don't choose your passion gonna choose you. So over that time period, working for Pepsi and Coke, and then M&M's running all their training and development, I really realized that every time I was sitting there training people and developing people and wanting to see who could see the outcome, it was just finding me. Education kept falling under me. Walt Disney then stole me from M&M's, so moved me to Minneapolis was my first one there. So we ran the Target account, and again, Disney put training education under me, and I'm like, hey, I'm running the consumer side. I guess it was calling me, and I really didn't know it. So I spent some time in Madrid with Disney, and I'm a big museum buff, so wherever I go, I got to see a museum. So I'm going through a tour with the guy in Madrid, and I'm like, what is appearing? Every time I kept saying it, and he said, in Greek mythology, that means continuous learning, never ending learning. That was in 2008. So I came back to the US and trademarked Appearing Global Institute. Didn't know what the heck I was going to do with it. Fast forward, I go to Microsoft and run all the worldwide marketing. Microsoft, what do they put under me? Education and training. And man, so I left Microsoft in 2015. Appearing Global Institute launched. That was in 2015, and I'm proud to say we're in 120 countries. It's at 1.2 million people a month. Somewhere, somebody is taking one of our micro-credentialing programs. But it wasn't just about that. I really targeted like juveniles. Most recently, we just signed the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice. South Carolina Department, DJJ, is the only K through 12 in all 50 states. They have a full K through 12, like a regular high school that graduates. About 5 years ago, we did a beta test. But we want those kids to understand cybersecurity, video game design, everything that was relevant today. So just because they were behind the fence didn't mean there were something wrong. 5 years later, 1,000 kids, micro-credentialing. We're so happy. We have a 10-year sole source agreement with them. We're the only one that can provide esports and cybersecurity and video game design. We have kids who are finishing micro-credentialing in 4 and 5 weeks. Who thought they could never do anything, starting out at 55,000. They have no more reason to go do what? And I remind them that all the time. I get some news of William this morning that I just received, breaking news. Representing South Carolina yesterday in my home state. Department of Social Services, foster care, everyone. And they called me this morning while I was in the hotel and said, hey, you have a meeting on Monday? So we're just gonna let you know. A Parent Global Institute is gonna be awarded all of SNAP benefits training for the entire state. So we're going to let this thing, dang, that was some hard work I worked. I'm talking about hours, man. Man, that was a tough crowd yesterday. The procurement officer wasn't smiling. Was trying to crack jokes, and she was like. And I kept calling her name, trying to get her, and she would just answer and say, just direct the questions to that person, to the Williams. I was like, man, but she never smiled. And then, so to get that announcement, I called her, I was like, hey, Dr. James, was like, she didn't smile. She's like, yeah, but she was texting me, she said, he was on it. He was identifying the juveniles, the veterans, reentry. She said, I said, well, I have the same pitch tomorrow, right? But he said, no, seriously. He said, so you're going to get foster care also 3,800. He said, so look for that call. So when we think about that, we became targeted. My point is, how do we take tech to the community? Pull that up, or the agenda really quickly here, so I can get out of the way. Today, we're going to go down what I see, reimagining the delivery of evidence-based workforce development, because that's what we're talking about. One, I always tell people throw ideas, but we have receipts. See, that's a receipt when you're doing everything like that. There's a reason why. Especially when we look at, well, we can call it whatever we want. As much as we say people don't want to come back in the building, and I know, but that's a lot of commercial empty buildings right now. So how do you have education and keep everyone engaged, even though they now realize they can work hybrid? But we still have to keep them engaged, right? What you're gonna see today, I'm lucky, we're gonna have Quan Hurst, who was STEM City. You're gonna see something really exciting about what we call the metaverse world. Then you're gonna have digital media transformation. That's Jacqueline Beauchamp and her partner, EJ, as we call him. I don't have to call him Ezra. I just found out today his name was Ezra. You're really gonna love what Engage Media Studio is doing. And then you're gonna see Daryl Gray, who's in California, who woke up early, out of bounds. Everyone's talking 5G, we're already in 2G. One of the things that was brought up, that Latoya brought up to us, which was a great point, and William, was really about, see, I've been in all the boot hills of Tennessee now, so you named the county, I probably drove through it. Bolivar's been my most favorite right now, because my friend Samir there. We talked about how do you go up in the mountains and make sure that everyone can have Wi-Fi. And I said, Latoya, we have a solve for that. Wait to see out of bounds. Then you're going to see, of course, Metaverse Evidence-Based Workforce Development, Bianca Jackson, James, but I keep saying about something else. Bianca Jackson, of course, and Monique Allen, who's also going to bring the piece of the Native American side. Thanks, Latoya and William, for that meeting, telling us about, hey, wait a minute, we can't forget everybody. And that's the population that's forgotten. Then we're going to have a discussion, what I call discussion of center operation, where we just let you guys please shoot all the questions, call, so we can make sure we finish by 11:15. So, let me show now the tech key community. Tech key community should be the link. I'm not gonna like go through all of our micro credential sites. You guys have seen LMS systems, so we're not gonna go through all of that. So, but that's all in the final presentation last time. However, one of the things we want to start off with as I now transfer to Juan would be, how do you take tech to the community? So you guys, this part of Tennessee, this part of Tennessee. One of the things we want to just wow you guys with is, slide up a little bit, you see some renderings. I'm like, how do we take these ideas you're about to see, tech to the community? So this is not a selling point. This is a brainstorming idea. How do you make sure everyone can have access to technology and these evidence-based learning things we're talking about? So this is our new gaming bus concept that's actually being built right now in the warehouse in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. Latoya and all of them haven't seen this yet. But it's not just a gaming portal. All of our micro credentials is installed on each one of those systems. So you can leave that in the community and they can actually earn their micro credentials from where they are. But now it's making it cool. Rescue said what? Stick to where the puck is going, not to where it is. Open once you pick open the window, like, yeah. I'll go up a little bit. Yep. Right, that's right. Middle Tennessee State has a great pilot program, right? We all know that. What are we short of, Dwayne, right now? Pilots. So what do we put in this bus? Where you can actually earn the steps that starts earning the hours towards your pilot's license. Remember, address the shortage. The new news is the FAA, as Latoya was aware, the FAA opens applications in June. Started 18 to 30, air traffic controller, finished the certificate in 9 weeks. He started at $103,000 at age 18. So look at those juveniles, look at everyone else that we have to, and just Tennessee CTE program. That's huge. So I'm gonna leave you with this as I get off. Check to the community. So how will we deliver evidence-based workforce development? Cool concepts like that. So it's not about us asking for a budget. We're letting you guys think of cool ways that we can help you deliver, reaching all of your agency goals, department goals all around, but reaching all in each of the communities. So now I'll transfer to Quan Hurst, who is the Chief Operating Officer of STEM City.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Good morning. Hi,
Quan?
Isaiah. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Well, it's great to meet all of you. I wish I were there in person, but it's amazing what we can do with technology today. So that's where we are. We're sitting in STEM City. So welcome to STEM City USA. This is our 2D metaverse that provides health, work, education, and personal and professional development resources. Now, let me go ahead and share screen really quickly because I want to let you guys kind of look around as I talk and share information. Okay, and please let me know if you can see STEM City with a thumbs up. Oh, awesome. Great. Okay.
Quan, hold 1 second. Okay. Latoya and waiting for this to a challenge. And the challenge was, how do you help all 90 plus counties? I said, why don't we just build a STEM City, Tennessee? And when Jacqueline comes up with Engage Media, she's like, that's easy. We can show you how one department can talk to the other department seamlessly. I said, but what if we put them in our own metaverse? Where someone can actually sit still at home and go through this. So now you're going to be looking at what we looked at is building STEM City, Tennessee for all of the counties, where they all talk together, but in a really cool way. Juan?
All righty, thank you. Well, we know that with the world rapidly advancing towards a digital age, it's necessary for cities and states to provide digital services to their taxpayers. Now, this is our 2D low-res version, which we do have a 3D version as well, but I want to take you through this because this is our STEM City USA Metaverse platform, and it's an innovative way, a solution that cities can use to provide digital services at a lower cost to the city. Now, this platform can be white labeled, which means it can be branded and customized to fit your specific needs. And that's the needs of Tennessee, either your cities or your states. And again, we will be going through how we're going to connect and so on as we go through the rest of the participants on this call. But we'll just start at this point so you can get a good idea for strategizing. And now by creating a digital twin, you can share resources. Your taxpayers can have access to things that may not be available in the real world, or they may be available and you just want to give them options. Okay, and some of our participants and content providers and partners and sponsors, they have 3 options for engaging in SimCity. One, they can be a content provider right in SimCity USA and maintain a suite or a room or a wing. They also can own their own SimCity USA, but it remain on our platform. And then we can white label it, which would allow the Tennessee state to take it and have it as their hub, their metaverse. Okay, now we'll go ahead and get started. This is the main point of entry to the city. This is the Innovation Town Center, where you do see a lot of the branding, and we talked about you can do branding, your own branding, so this would look just be representative of Tennessee, of how it looks and feels and how the people that live in your community see it. We have various options here of information that we share right on the main town center, as well as options to navigate around through the city. First, I'll just take you to the Welcome Center, because I'm assuming you will want to have a welcome piece to Tennessee to engage and start. This is our gateway into various other locations throughout the city, as well as to different portals outside of the city and other states. With this, we engage in various ways through our subway, which SimCity Gaming is coming soon. And this is something that is still connected to the city. So we want to have it, or SimCity USA. So we wanted to have a way that you can get to the gaming because again, this is a way to connect all of Tennessee. This is how we would do it. With this, we will engage the airport, where if you're going outside of the city, in this case, you may want to connect to other states or for other different resources that you want to connect to, you can use an airport system to do that. And we have SimCity, Kansas, which I will go through and show you. That is their own city, still on our platform. So that is the number 2 option that you would have as the state. Here we feature a lot of things like live information, live news. So this is the newsroom itself. In the newsroom, there's capabilities to either view live programming currently on,
experimental aircraft and unmanned aircraft.
This is NASA Live they wanted to feature. We have other various programs that run live as well, which is something that is providing users with access to information that they can come and always feel like they're getting the latest and greatest. This is all live information. Also, there's video chat capabilities in the room. Now, right now, we're meeting in SimCity USA bookstore. So that's where all of us came, went to video chat, and we are all in SimCity at the moment using a resource that would be provided to the Tennessee state. You could have your own resources that are set up that people could use on a regular basis. The more people come for your resources, the more they come for other things, the more they come for access. It just develops and engages itself. We also have chat feature in the room where if any show is on, people are able to engage with each other and connect. So it is a very social way of keeping your communities connected. Okay, and then we'll just head out and head to a few other places. We also have portals directly into our conferences as well. So our Welcome Center serves a lot of purposes where it allows everyone to engage in ways that best suit them. It's giving the user agency over what they want to see and how they want to use it. Again, your city could do the same thing. Create a portal where people can go and get information they need when they need it. And that does eliminate some of the resources that you have to actively maintain in the physical world. You're able to adjust and make it easy for them in your digital world. Okay, next we'll take a look over, we'll head over to our La Familia Health and Wellness. Now this was designed to give people something that they desperately needed, especially in underserved communities. We provided a mental health awareness programming, which featured every Saturday at 11 a.m. Now, once it features live, it goes into the repository and they're able to come back. So this is something people can continually engage and have other friends, family members who may need services back to this platform for assistance. We also have the professional development piece, where this is also another great opportunity for a city to engage with partners like Amazon and Leidos, featuring job training and information throughout their suites at different moments. We also maintain it's a lot of business resources. This group is a suite, a content provider on the platform, and they provide services to businesses. Every other month, they provide a whole entire week of live programming with businesses and entrepreneurs that are all connected with the Black Business Olympics. Let's go take a look at another one. We'll go to the Stewart Multicultural Center. Every city does need to feature some of the important things that happen around the city, but this is we're in the process of designing our STEM City Museum, which will feature artists from all over. It's another way to engage the entrepreneurs in your city. Bookstore, another e-commerce point. This is actually where we met, right here in the video chat section. We also provide entertainment, live jazz. This is the jazz club that's located in Missouri. It also provides networking opportunities. We also engaged with the military. They wanted to be a part of this. The military actually used Tribute Hall as their meeting spot for the entire prep session for our BEA conference that we just held in February. This is where they would all come, jump in video chat, and meet to discuss the different initiatives and the different work that they needed to do at the conference. So it creates your networking of your various groups can use your city. Let's check out our education and discovery. Now, this is majorly important simply because this was the basis in which STEM City Metaverse was created. It was to reach and kind of bridge that gap that was created by, or not really created, it was enhanced by the pandemic. When everything shut down and the children had no access to certain resources, STEM City came about. And just to think, imagine had this been available prior to the pandemic, what a difference that would have made. It's still engaging. These are 24-hour programs that are featured with training to kids, different programs, reading, math, skills, tutoring opportunities. This is where we engage our universities that are located, the 15 ABET accredited HBCU universities. This is where you can go in and actually tour and visit some of the different areas in the university. This is a way to keep it. You would have your Tennessee colleges and universities also being able to engage on your platform of the city. Again, building that resource, sharing information that needs to be shared.
Hey, Quan, can I hold for a
Yes,
second?
sir.
Isaac.
Yes, sir.
So let me kind of bring it back to the one you just left with all the school in it.
Oh, you want me to
Yeah,
go right back here?
Yep, if you can. So here we listed schools, but in our case, as we spoke to Latoya and Will, these are all rooms, open like Morgan State. Actually, what we described was that you could actually go, each one of your departments, that could still be that flag, and they go in there. So these would be the 95 counties that we could list out like that, and they go, and each one of the services that are available in those counties can be customized for you. So we just wanted to show up in that perspective, kind of bring it home, meaning we look at this, and if she clicked on this, this will take you to the alumni for Morgan State. So picture that, Latoya, if we said what one of the departments of services that need to be, that could be inserted in that. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Yeah, so, and that was about how do you unite it where it had one look and feel and kept it where it said, okay, because one thing we looked at all the websites, all the county, everything was different. And we're like, how do we just make it one unified look? But they still went and got all the services that was needed and they all got the same services because that's what it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Training, everything goes from there. Go back to the main room of that one, real quickly. Go back one more. So basically, you're creating your own world. I mean, you have each one of these are different rooms inside that world of training. So this is training development, this is workforce development, this is reentry. We're creating that based on what you're asking for. So if this is a reentry room, it's going to be reentry training and everything that happens in there that's supposed to happen in reentry is inside there when they click it in. Real live, same consistency with it.
And Isaiah, I want to feature this with the AFRL room. Now we have just broken this down. It's treated as though this were a physical location, but they just recently had a job fair. And they had each room was named for the different jobs that they were featuring. And they scheduled and hired through the platform as well. But they scheduled people to come for interviews. They had each of their officers from the company and the HR people set up in each room. And they would just come in and click and go. This was set to go directly to a video chat or Zoom session. And the person that was providing the interview was able to lock that session once they had the interviewee in. They could interview, but they ended up hiring a multitude of people, all from using people from various locations. They saved a ton of money. I think it was somewhere close to $100,000 that they actually saved just by doing this virtual job fair and hiring and recruitment session instead of trying to man it on site. And they said it was the most productive. They were able to scan and screen who they needed, and they had just the right people coming in. So it was way more competitive, but they had a bigger and a greater selection of people to choose from. And that's another resource that you have where you're using something, you're still connecting people, but you're not, expending taxpayer dollars and just crazy resources on something where you can do it in a smarter, more efficient way. So it's just opportunity after opportunity. But once we finish the session, they've decided they want to build out and have their various programs featured now. And we're in the process of adding their programs. So they end up with a wing that they are able to manage. And again, we provide various other resources. Raytheon is on board, Google. So this is considered the second floor, you might say. But you have options beyond. It's just an amazing platform to be a part of because it does connect people in ways that we started to see them disconnecting. This is a way to bring it back. So I would like to say, if you have any questions, once we're all done, I'd be more than happy to answer, but this is STEMcity USA, your 2D low-res metaverse option that can be white labeled to accommodate all of the city's needs. And back over to you, Isaiah.
Thanks. So as Jacqueline Beauchamp comes up with engaged media, so now one of the things that Latoya and Will talked about was the cost of training and getting people to training and what do we need oculists, do we spend money on this and that? Or like, what if you can just do it as a digital twin where we actually put Latoya actually in the training room as a digital twin and have the training that way? Exactly. So what you're about to see now is how we bring it all home with the vision of STEMcity, meaning STEMcity, Tennessee. That is going to be customized to exactly what we wanted for all of the professional development training. So we're like, you don't have to spend a lot of money on Oculus. Here's how you can just do this in a different world. Amazon and everyone uses that. So when I look at all the corporations that we have in the state of Tennessee, from FedEx and Toyota, everyone here, right? So it's like, how do you get the businesses involved? When I say they pay a ton of money for those spots, I Can't reveal the numbers, Quan, as you know, but let's just say Google pays a lot just to have that because it saves them a lot also. And it's a really cool thing when you're being interviewed in that whole avatar world. Jacqueline?
Can I ask a question before we leave, because it's a lot of information, so we may need, we'll pause and.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so, so going back to STEM City, on, really thinking through this from an enterprise mindset, but specifically with workforce development, sort of proper that we do as opposed to sort of the education and training. Can we regionalize it? So do we have the opportunity to say this is a region and within that region, because the resources and needs are vastly different across our state, like they are every state.
Correct.
So can we regionalize this and say like, this is one of our areas, right? This is Northeast Tennessee.
Yeah.
And inside Northeast Tennessee, now it's sort of all of these services sort of broken out, because we don't want to give the impression in Greater Memphis that it's going to look the same in Northeast. So do we have the ability to customize it as we're talking and maybe keeping that in mind?
Absolutely. I shared that with the team we were prepping yesterday. I said, so let me help you understand this different here, this part of Tennessee, this part of Tennessee, this part of Tennessee. So you're exactly right. So yes, I said that to mention, I said, we're gonna have to like break it down. This will look like this, even though we're gonna make it look the same, but realize they're different regions because different areas. I was like, look, Memphis, Shelby County is totally different from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
So yes, absolutely.
And so we then could have industry specific sort of training for those sort of.
Oh,
regional-
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
I do want to show just really quickly, we're in STEM City USA, but like you said, if you wanted to branch out a little bit, this is STEM City, Kansas. Now they have some similarities because they simply chose to, but they could have named these buildings. They could have had a whole different outlook. This is a part of the skyline for Kansas City, so it reflects them more, but they also feature information and things in their city that they're specific to Kansas. It's not part of STEM City. It is connected to STEM City. This particular one is run on the STEM City platform as its own separate entity. So they get their own look and feel of information. They feature, they wanted audio and music. So that's what they got with their multi. Oops, I'm sorry. I think I heard someone speaking.
Hey, Quan, we're gonna come back at the end for the wrap up with you with that again. So let me like engage me, jump on because
You got it.
really, I need the leaders to get to Jackie and Jacqueline and Audubon because it's going to address the major things real quickly.
And that's fine.
That's a good question, but yeah.
Sure. So I'm good, while they're pulling that up, I'm Jacqueline Beauchamp, I'm the CEO of Engage Media. We are a digital media, okay, we may want to leave it in the other mode because it's cutting, just, if you can just take it out. We are a digital media technology and production company. We do video game, well, we started at the core of what we did as our company. We're a video game organization, right, that created the Black college football video game experience. We're a licensed Microsoft game developer and all that you're going to see in mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality, all at the core of it is gaming. The pipeline is gaming. And so I actually wanted to autograph these and give this to everyone in the room, but they told me that I can't do that. But because we are
Sorry, guys.
yeah, we are the first African-American led organization and company that was granted a license from Microsoft in the world, as well as not only we developed the product, we actually ship. And we were the first in the history of gaming to be able to do that. And now we're being inducted, and I'm proud to say, into the Video Game Hall of Fame. So what we did as an organization. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jacqueline Beauchamp is no different than Sony or studio.
Yeah.
So she's a unicorn.
And my background is I'm an electrical engineer by education, dual minors in mathematics and computer science. So real female technical. Technical, I'm just a technical geeky girl, but I love technology and I love media, and that's what I did. I started my career 10 years with IBM as a computer designer, and my passion was always in multimedia and entertainment. And so I left my IBM after 10 years and went to Motorola. I started working with Motorola and actually grew their multimedia systems division from 5 people to 250 people worldwide. So I had I was Motorola's first African-American female general manager. I had teams in North America, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Asia Pacific, London, and also Canada. We created the silicon technology that went inside consumer electronics products. That also, which went into TVs, game consoles, game controllers, DVD consoles. I'm now dating myself, but but we also created the set-top box that sit on top of your television. So the units that came from AT&T and the cable operators, they actually came from my organization. So, well, at least the telcos did, until we did an acquisition with General Instrument. They focus on cable, we focus on telecommunication. And so I always wanted to own my own company. And I started, my company started with video games, expanding now into mixed reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality experience. We are licensed developers still, once again, in partnership with Microsoft, 15 plus years now. So we went from video games now to augmented and mixed reality on their mixed reality platform and console, as well as cloud computing. We are now the leading diversity supplier and provider into the museum space by acquisition and by installations that we're doing right now. I'm gonna let you guys see some of those projects that we're doing. I guess you guys may have to do that. Yeah, okay, so our businesses, we have our interactive studio, our mixed reality capture studio, as well as our immersive services, what we do with clients when we engage them and work with them in integrating their digital transformation needs and everybody's needs. Don't let anybody tell you nothing is cookie cutter. Okay, so we cannot engage you and say, this one thing is gonna fit everything you need, and it fits everyone, it does not. So, and we also have a film. None other than Mr. Ezra J. sitting there. So, yeah. So I'm gonna stay on this just for a little bit, but to talk about what is driving everything in marketplaces right now. The pandemic, yes, it didn't cause a lot of things, it actually exposed a lot of things, right? And so what we're looking at now is every business, every area of life, everything that we do, everybody is transforming their business operations from what we call the industrial area now into a digital lifestyle world and area. And that means for state agencies, and all the big corporations, every last one of them, you see the organizations and the companies that we work with, but they are all transforming everything that they do into a digital transformational landscape. They don't have a choice. It is not optional any longer. And which means for state agencies, how do you enable that same approach, as well as how do you make sure from an education and training standpoint that workforce is trained for what industry is actually doing. So we service 4 key industry sectors: the museum space, sports space, entertainment, education, industrial, and government. And we provide an approach down in providing end-to-end solutions, and I'll share with you so you don't have to look, but end-to-end solutions as they make their digital transformation. I want to stay here for a while because all the other stuff is the pretty stuff. This is how it gets done. Because without your infrastructure and putting your networking capabilities in and your operational capabilities in, and how you build your platform elements around everything else that makes all of that pretty stuff pretty, like my engineers or the programmers will say, none of it works without us. And that's what they constantly keep saying. It's not gonna work until we tie all of those things together. So we make sure and we build everything on an enterprise solution platform. We build everything on top of Microsoft Azure. So our cloud infrastructure is Azure, security protocols, security enterprise systems for scalability. These are the things that you don't see, but are extremely critical as you begin making whatever that transformation needs are. You will need to be able to do that. And this top layer is how we integrate everything in with a seamless user experience that also from customer experience to the applications that you're going to need, but then also on your data, your dashboard, how do you manage it? How do you make sure that you get the data that you're looking for, and then also that you can manage and be able to modify as quickly as you need to based upon the needs of your organization. So our approach, as I stated, one size doesn't fit all. So we approach every customer with the ability of looking at design and creating what we need to create with you, ideating, going through the whole process of how do we do this, what is it that your vision is, not ours. And then we take you through an integration where we would end up modeling all of that and designing and concepting that out. We deliver it, then we provide you with the management system tools and the monetization, and that's not just on monetizing content, but how does your end customer end up from a monetization from their standpoint, whether it's job employment or what have you, how do they actually benefit from that? I'm going to take you through, here's a couple of our customers that we've done some adoption with. One is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where we have integrated in, where they're, once again, COVID hits everybody. Their museum physically shut down, right? What we ended up going back and doing with them, we were actually in the middle of going through their digital transformation strategies and planning when COVID happened. And they said, can you accelerate this? And I said, no. And so, but we ended up where they were looking at integrating in the Black College Football Hall of Fame as a part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And they wanted a more immersive experience, both inside the wall and one that was outside the wall. So, and I'll let you guys see what we're doing with them. The Jazz Museum in Harlem is another customer, and the Leonardo Museum, and we just did a launch of their museum, and you'll see some of that. And so here is how we go about doing that. Okay, here's an actual use case of what we did for the Pro Football Hall. We started with them from, what would you like to accomplish? What's your thoughts? What do you want to see? And so we went through a complete concept and storyboarding process and a design process with them. And then from there, we began creating what we classically call asset creation. We start creating the asset elements to test everything out, to make sure that it's working. Who you're seeing on here, this is actually Mel Blunt. Mel Blunt got Mel very comfortable in doing a motion. We actually took him and did his hologram. We took him into the stage and captured him. And this is actually Mel being captured with his hologram. And we actually got Mel loosening up. He started dancing and everything, but that's the human aspect of what you do. We really work with them and humanize them to pull their story out of them. And then we provide a video concept of that. And then we also provide the tools that they can manage. And we do that also for our industrial clients, one with Underwriters Laboratory. You'll see this right here is the whole digital twins and the training. We're going to make sure you guys do that. And here's once again, another process flow that you go through for the industrial sector in getting down to specifically what is it and how do you want to approach solving your problem. And I think from there, what I want to be able to pull up now is the video. And I'm going to show you from there, guys, some of our projects that we have done over the years, so you physically will be able to see. So you asked the question, can anything be customized? Ever your heart desires? Yes, all of it. Everything is scalable, can be built. In this world, especially with digital, twins, we can do a complete digital twin of this entire physical building. Where it would literally look like this building. What you saw when we did the drone shoot that we did at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we literally went in and did a complete 360 drone shoot of the entire building, both in and out. And so we can physically put anyone in a space. So you can go in and we didn't show teleportation, but which means that we can literally transpose you into a physical infrastructure that we end up designing and building.
That would help with my travel.
I got you on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have to move. I
Yes.
just want to say, first of all, and maybe this is a part of the presentation anyway, if not, you really know your customers, because if you put football in anything and you got. Football girls, I love football, but, this is amazing and scary at the same time. But, just thinking about utility in my head, issues that fall for individuals that have barriers, right? It's something that is paramount, so I would love to unpack this a little bit more, and we're limited on time today, but
Right.
I hope we can have a future conversation, because I get excited and I'll derail us, so.
Okay, no problem. And I definitely understand the areas for, special needs, and
Yeah.
especially dealing with my parent, my mother dealt with special needs, and she was a teacher, in dealing with.
People with transportation there,
Absolutely.
right? Area is bringing the world to them, not them to the world.
That's exactly right.
This could be a solution for even an American Job Center where they can actually engage with someone.
Yeah.
Tell Steve in services, yes.
So so this really was to share, just to show you the possibilities of what could be, right? And then what you end up doing, you start designing what you specifically want that to become. So, I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I'm looking forward to any other questions you have, we're here to answer.
Thank you, breaking ceilings, thank you.
Thank you, absolutely.
So as we are, they're operating with Audubon, so now it was about how do you now ensure that despite wherever you are, there's no more Wi-Fi issues, there's no broadband. Daryl, are you there?
I am, thank you.
Did we help your elevator situation you described to us? Or tell you, what was it? What was it?
Elevated the boilers, training those individuals, to meet the need that we have here. We can create that twin environment so they can learn those skills, those types of.
Daryl, you on?
I am. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
Want to make- Can you guys hear me okay?
6 minutes, you're on.
Yeah. I ain't want to do the book. Wait, come back.
Can you
All right,
guys
you
hear me
got it.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you guys and be a part of this. Amazing. I'm looking at what Kwame and Jacqueline just presented, and I just want to elaborate that they did all of this next generation innovation on 40-year-old technology. My name is Daryl Gray. I'm the CEO, chairman of a company called Autobahn. Autobahn is based on attosecond to the negative 18th power. It's all about science and latency engineering. The infrastructure of tomorrow has to happen, has to be put in place. With 11 trillion as a target for cyber pilfering and theft, and with the digital divide where our communities can't have digital equality, digital equity, digital inclusion. Tennessee has an amazing opportunity with this team who can take the next generation infrastructure and reimagine how you can fit so many problems that we're very familiar with, but didn't have the infrastructure or control of the infrastructure to change. There's an opportunity to reimagine everything. Autobahn was founded by me and Richard Ford in 2013. I don't have time to go into the background. I mean, we rolled out Citibank network infrastructure that they end up, sourcing out to other banks. I got the Trailblazer Award for rolling out the GPS and proving to Federal Highway Department of Transportation that people wouldn't drive off the road looking at a cockpit in the car. I also received the Continuity of Operations Plan for looking after several families for critical personnel should something happen to the United States. I point that out because we got an award, but we didn't have an answer for communications, which is the first protocol for emergency preparedness. Now think about this. Got an award for continuity of operations in a disaster. And we did not have an answer for communications. Our 40-year-old infrastructure is what they call a distributed architecture, meaning, if you can remember 9/11, everyone was trying to make a call at one time, which means the lines were congested and we couldn't make a call. Fast forward today, our infrastructure is even more congested. The things that Kwame and Jacqueline has to do to create these innovative technologies is amazing today. But what we see as an opportunity is to roll out the next generation internet. And it starts with reevaluating everything. I'm going to play this video. I know we short of time, but I think this will help me consolidate what we need to realize. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can hear this, okay?
We are all living in this new digital era where the quality of life is determined by our access to many
Thumbs up?
devices, such as smartphones and tablets.
Okay, thank you.
It has simply become too congested. The internet has evolved over the last 30 years, but it can no longer support the massive global volume of voice, data, and media traffic we are currently experiencing. Governments and businesses across every sector must adapt to a new reality. It is the Internet of Things, which is rapidly connecting tens of billions of additional devices to the internet. Think about it. Every business and government must have a secure, scalable, high-speed network to properly serve their customers and constituents. Introducing Autobahn's broadband network. Autobahn's network architecture is one of the most innovative technologies that has evolved since the internet was originally designed. Our network is like having fiber in the sky, where speeds are not measured in megabits, but in gigabits per second. It uses ultra-high spectrum frequencies to transmit data, voice, and media over several miles. It is a secure, high-speed solution for accessing the internet, one that greatly strengthens defenses against security breaches, hacking, or cyber threats. Autobahn's technology will improve internet access, offer higher performance and reliability for everyone on Earth. The United States Federal Communication Commission has taken unprecedented action to open the high-frequency spectrums above 3G, 4G, and 5G, and this has encouraged the development of innovative broadband technologies, such as those patented by Autobahn. The technology eliminates the need for cell towers and acts as a roving hotspot. As more users log on to the network, it automatically accommodates the additional traffic because our grid-independent mobile network grows organically to accommodate the increased demand. Our solutions enhance the performance of mobile communications for many users, including municipal governments and established and emerging industries. By licensing our technology, you can be an early adopter and future-proof your government entity or industry ahead of your competitors. Autobahn's network technology is now being introduced to several pilot program cities as a revenue and profit center rather than a cost center in the United States and across the globe. Autobahn's network architecture is designed for sustainability and to bridge the digital divide so everyone will have reliable broadband service.
Thank you, guys. Am I back on the screen?
Yeah.
Great, great. And we're the problems of the internet, right? Great, thank you. This has been 10 years. People used to say, if it worked. This is from our community, meaning from our background, HBCU. I graduated from Norfolk State. My co-founder is also African-American. And according to the Patent and Trade Office, they contend that this would be the platform for the next 100 years. I can't guarantee that. But the only reason I want to make the statement, because I think this is a pivotal moment for us to look at what could be. Silicon Valley grew and, in my opinion, became the leader in data knowledge because they were first. I think Tennessee has an amazing opportunity with Isaiah's stewardship and the team he's assembled. I'm impressed. First time I really met people on this panel, but I know him. And I can imagine that looking at a platform with processing efficiency of over 12,000% faster than anybody else, and producing nanosecond, not millisecond latency. What that means is that if you're thinking about autonomous cars, when you hit the brake, the car stops from anywhere in the world. A homogeneous network means it's 10 gig across the entire network. So when we distribute the V-Rovers, which is handheld device, or a chip that can go into any device, is a part of this network architecture, like an ecosystem. It's a completely mobile network. Tennessee lead the nation with physical connectivity with fiber. So you have a solid infrastructure. But now we have an opportunity to have fiber in the sky. We can simply take that nuclear switch, connect it to any fiber point, look at a number of photonic switches which can be mobile or in racks. By the way, Audubon influence came out of Tennessee with UPS. That's a story for a later time. But we can put these photonic switches on UPS trucks, FedEx trucks, Uber vehicles to saturate and audify the environment. So when people walk around with an Apple-infused auto chip or V-Rover, they'll have 10 gig just like they have in a Tennessee residence. Tennessee can not only eradicate the digital divide completely for mobile access, but also can lead the world, because there's a demand generation strategy with a totally secure network that cannot be hacked. People would have to come to Tennessee before the network can come to them, because it's all about first. And with the development and innovation team, starting with the right foundation, is a new time to imagine and fix things and provide a level of digital equality, digital inclusion, economic sharing. I'll give you one example. I was listening to Jacqueline talk about gaming, and I was thinking about esports. Right now, some of the best sports players are based on not always their skill, but their access speed. If you can imagine, the first preeminent pro esports network could be in Tennessee, because everyone would have the same speed. So if you didn't play in Tennessee, you're not really a pro, because there's a level playing field. Now think about Audubon analogous to 120 volt electricity. It should be the same for everybody, everywhere. Carl just interrupted that. Can you guys still see my screen? Good. And in addition, when we think about continuity of operations, or if you look at natural disasters and our inability to get networks up, if you think of Puerto Rico and how long it took them, and now we're talking beyond 6G.
Here you go.
We're 7 years beyond 6G. And I'm very careful what we talk about. We've been in stealth mode for 9 years. But when you can imagine that you can deploy a critical result, solve critical result is it after natural disaster, or even at a game, you can deploy a mobile unit with enough resources to do almost anything you need to do. Let me give you an example. Google, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, mega data centers have to be way outside of the city center for a lot of different reasons. But distance is a problem. The distant data have to travel, creates more latency. They have to follow the curvature of the earth, just like fiber. When you're going through the sky, that distance is much quicker. You can put your network right in the heart of the city. 14,000 square foot would be equal to 1 million square foot data center, and you can use city power. Instead of 850 megawatts, you can have 1 million square foot capability for 15 megawatts. It's almost like seeing a billion fish that look like a whale. That whale takes a lot of energy to turn, but those billion fish can look like a whale and turn in any directions or all directions at once. So when you think of auto technology and auto engineering, it's about taking small things and getting those efficiencies. Let's assume someone was out in the hills, like Isaiah mentioned earlier in the presentation. And they had no access to fiber or the internet, or they're just using hotspots. We can get them on the internet very, very fast. All we have to do is deploy one of our V rovers. We can leverage the Wi-Fi, spread it up into 4 parts. If it's an apartment building, we can give them 425 megabits per second. Our technology bypass what they call the OSI layers. I don't want to get too technical, but when Quan and Jacqueline have to develop, they have to go through 7 layers to get things done because of the older architecture. We completely bypass those transport layers and session layers and all those layers that allow hackers access into our data. And we can skip the transport layers and OSI layers of internet and put them on the internet, whether they have physical connectivity or not, by running a single fiber line. The efficiency of the processing, the nanosecond latency, and the unhackability of the network. The fact that we can go through the air, create fiber through the sky. We can create next generation platform for new products and services. I can only dream of what we can do with metaverse terminology now, because on the edge, and in order to get photorealistic digital twins and virtual reality the right way, you need bandwidth, and you need a processing center that can process data with nanosecond latency.
Because one of the things I didn't state, you're absolutely correct. The time that it takes us to create, I mean, not necessarily create it, but just process it, to render everything out. Something like this is going to be. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So Daryl, just because
Jacqueline, I appreciate your background.
Daryl,
Yes.
so Daryl, let's do this very quick because Bianca, we have to be out of this room for another meeting coming up. So Bianca and Monique's coming up. However, you had someone walking up. This clearly requires another meeting for this in much detail because deeper in that, but it had to be seen. So Bianca, Monique, I want to make sure 6 minutes. And like, because they have to reset this room. So you come up, please. You guys come up, that'd be great. And this is the last piece of this, and this wraps around more of that evidence-based workforce code. Something really cool. I just gotta let you see it. I know you got to bounce out of here. But that one with Daryl ensuring, remember we said, when I said every household, doesn't matter where you're, and then it reduces that cost of that bill for cable. So that's a deeper discussion.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl.
Okay, so we don't have a presentation. I think you've seen enough today, but so far we covered infrastructure, we covered, the interface and how you interact with it. And so we're gonna actually talk about content and experience. And like, how do you take real life content that you're doing in person and actually put it in the metaverse? So I'll do a brief introduction. She'll introduce herself. So hello there. I'm probably the only Black woman on the planet who has a Pulitzer Prize in virtual reality. I managed a I guess you could say a game development team at USA Today several years ago. And so within a year of joining that team, we built 3 different products, virtual reality products, and by that third one, we won a Pulitzer Prize. We focused on bringing in content that was already in, I guess you could say like our CDN, so what we already had in our inventory. We did a story about the US-Mexico border, bringing in journalists, photojournalists, editors, and we had a team of 50 people from California to Texas. And so we pulled all that content together on the map, digital world, and created this experience. And so with my company, what we do is we actually find ways to get young people really interested in this stuff, right? Like, how can they take the technology that they're walking around with in their pockets and really start to imagine the future of their work, even potentially even being business owners. So in Baltimore, where I'm located, we work with artists, creators, small businesses and just to kind of give them an idea of like what's possible for the future. And so there's a lot of overlap of our work, but I'll let Monique introduce herself.
And I'm Monique Allen. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Ma'at Enterprises, and also the co-founder and creator of a mixed virtual reality application called Stembella. I primarily focus, I'm actually part of the Cherokee Nation and a citizen. And so I started a tribally owned company. So it's a small Native American woman-owned company. We're scaling and growing responsibly, but doing a lot of work at the federal level. We are one of the go-to companies under the Buy Indian Act for Indian Health Services, Bureau of Indian Education. So we are doing work with so many different agencies that fall under the Department of Interior and Health and Human Services. So when Isaiah talks about the Native focus, I'm here to represent that part too.
And she informed us that there's locations in Tennessee. I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that.
So one of the things that I
I'm
wanted
sorry,
to, yeah.
No, no, I
so-
was gonna say, we are a modern state, but there's a presence.
There's a presence and we have some ideas on how to connect the presence here with not only Cherokee, Navajo, all of the tribes that are out there, because there's some interesting things that are going on in Oklahoma with the Cherokee Nation where they are trying to preserve the culture. So everything that you've been seeing,
Yeah.
Tennessee can be the leader on that as well. And then in terms of education, there's the Bureau of Indian Education. They actually have a Eastern Regional Office right here in Nashville. And then there's also an Indian Health Services office right here in Nashville. So you guys have representation at the federal level, which we can connect the state of Tennessee through the American Recovery Act. There's dollars in there that we can tap into and grab those grants to make an impact on the tribal communities. So I want to flip it back to you for a moment, and then we'll probably close this out with just a quick video on what Stembella is about, because it's a game-changing curriculum that I created to teach STEM using beauty to get at the communities that are being left behind that really don't enjoy STEM, but we tap into it a different way. And then we can use this as an educational platform as well for the state, to get this curriculum into the schools. So,
Right. So at our company in Baltimore, our work has already been supported by Meta last year. So we received a grant for them to develop out our experiences and curriculum. We primarily engage young people through events first. So really getting them excited about coming to music concerts, exploring fashion, beauty, travel. And so that is their way to kind of like, I would use it as a carrot, like to just get them in there. And because the environments look so much like video games, it comes second nature to them. In addition to that, we work with their parents and really just explaining to them the pathway from gaming to the future of this. And so a lot of times we hear parents like they're always complaining about their children being in these games, not realizing that the corporations have been training their children for decades. And so really trying to explain to them the trajectory and also the earning potential of it. And so I'm just really excited about being here and the fact that you see this as a value add and we don't have to convince you already know.
And Dr. Fry, you mentioned his first conversation was good. He said, listen, even though, and that was prior meeting, Latoya, he was like, even though there's the adult piece, Isaiah, we really need to think about this juvenile piece. So what Bianca showed Latoya, which she would show you another time, would be building out this avatar world, because that's what the youth would engage in, especially on the juvenile side. So look forward to seeing that avatar world. I was like, oh, you should have an avatar world, because that was, and then she saw that. So they'll build out those rooms for training and shit like that.
Yeah, so you want to show the video?
yeah, just a quick overview. So this was Francisco, I'm actually from California. And this school came in as a user acceptance testing group to look at Stembella. So why don't we play that for them?
Isaiah, we are lost sound.
I know.
The person who's quiet in the room, I invited in the room as an outside eye, as, Dr. Iris Johnson Arnold, who is over at Tennessee State University in the Department of Speech Audio, Speech Pathology, that big word. But the reason why I wanted Dr. Arnold to kind of sit in, because she kept putting in our ears about the youth piece and the speaking piece and how the education, so quietly as she sat here, it was easy for her to say, okay, here's where this new world is coming, is like, you know, you gotta have someone who just kind of see it from the youth coming on up, from the small business going on up, and the importance of how education ties in as we wrap down the statement. I don't know if you want to say anything, but just as you've seen everything, because we didn't show her this in advance for a reason. I was like, hey, I kind of need your like PhD eye to kind of say, how does this help? And everybody's asking for, right? This new one connection Tennessean and education and all that is different.
Actually, that I'm at the Avon Widows campus, brother. It's right down the street. That's like I've never been in.
Okay, it looks like they lost connection. I don't see them on at the moment from our side. So if you can hear me, Doc and Daryl, Sterling.
We're on, we can hear you now.
Okay, alrighty. I can't see them or hear them. In fact, I don't see their window, so they must have lost connection.
Yeah, I'll see them there.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we Audubon.
I love it. That's why the state of Tennessee definitely needs Audubon.
No, I love Audubon. But you know what a question I have for you, Daryl, is this is Dr. T. One of the things that we're integrating into the platform, and I think people, it's really important, everything I saw today, what I hope people, we won on a global level, the best metaverse solution. We came in as a finalist because we're building a platform. So STEM City simply sits on that platform like Black Engineer and everything else. So all of this can be absolutely customized to be as realistic and everything else. But the point So I always explain to people that when you think about the metaverse, think about it as an empty canvas. When you think about a digital twin, virtual reality, those are all pieces you put on that canvas, but some infrastructure's got to exist. So everything I saw today, you can easily integrate that. You can use APIs, all of that can come on. But if you don't have the fundamental platform, and it's got to be in a 2D version because it has to be scalable, because you can't put millions of people in a virtual reality situation. First of all, they all don't have the hardware. But with that said, one of the things that we're integrating into the system is a lot of AI and machine learning that will help really people to navigate the platform and allow the platform to grow itself. How does, you're dealing with connectivity. Are you dealing with anything on the storage side?
Absolutely. We deal with the entire enterprise core to edge. We just have a systematic methodology of how we introduce it. But STEM City, I would start with the efficiency of processing and real-time communications, nanosecond latency. So the processing for the platform is what also would make it easier for the numbers of people, if a lot of people want to connect, so you can have much larger audiences. So you're right, it's scalable. But being able to have STEM City in out-of-bound processing centers throughout the world is an amazing opportunity. I think we should talk about that. I think this is Meta. It's not Facebook. Facebook doesn't have the compute.
Yeah. What Facebook is doing with their Meta is a closed system, and it's not truly an open system that eventually will sit on blockchain.
This sits on blockchain?
It will sit on blockchain. It's designed to go on blockchain, yes.
Okay, why would you do that?
Well, because we're going to be bringing in the economy where we can talk later, but I'll give you some ideas about it, okay?
Right.
Okay, but part of it is because we're going to be bringing in, we already have like a Bay of Coin, but we're going to be bringing in a whole e-commerce system where people can exchange and everything else. We already mine NFTs for the art museums that are opening, because what we see is the ability of what we're doing to be transformational to communities where they can create their own wealth online. And that's where we're going with the social media side. STEM City is really 3 different pieces. Number one is developing the software and the stuff we have. We can simply white label that to any state, government, university. If you want your whole university sitting on your servers, we can sell you our software.
Right.
And they can build it out, and you never need to look at us again except for maintenance, right? What you're seeing now, that's our social media side. That's where people are able to come in and either license to build a city, license to build a shopping mall, but it's sitting on our servers, right? And then you can just rent space like Amazon is doing. You rent a room and we build it in any part of the platform that you want. So those are 3 different entry points.
Okay.
What we're looking at here is I think the Tennessee state idea should be a white labeling, unless it's just a department. Then if it's just a department, you don't want to go through all of that.
Right.
Okay. But if they're really thinking about a statewide solution at some point, and then you're going to want to connect to all your different databases, you need zero trust. You need to be able to have that server that you got complete control over.
Right.
Okay. Because we're not talking about recreating databases and stuff. You're talking about using a platform to plug everything in and connect everyone. A lot of that work's been done, but it's not familiar. So you've got a citizen coming in and they're actually walking through the digital twin sitting on top of our metaverse engine, and it looks just like, you know, City Hall or the Department of Motor Vehicles. So you're getting a feel, even if you're not physically there, but
Yes,
you
sir.
get so immersed in it that you feel comfortable, you know? And if you can't access that one resource, you might find 10 other resources you hadn't even thought about until you physically came onto the platform.
Right.
You say, oh man, shucks, I didn't know I could get my wedding certificate. You know, I mean, that's a complete accident. You weren't thinking about that. Oh, well, I didn't not know that there were healthcare activities, or I could, you know, register to vote, because it's all in front of you.
Right.
Okay. Any case, hey,
Wow.
let's reconnect, but I love to find out a lot more. But in the meantime, we should do an article in Black Engineer on his work, Quan. So maybe we can get the editors involved.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I will make sure. Daryl, I have your email contact information. So I'll just shoot you a message and do some introductions as well. So that, and I'll get it to you too, as well, Dr. Taborn. And Daryl, just in case, Dr. Taborn is who I was pretending to be today. Yeah. No, he's our CEO of Career Communications Group. So, and I'm his second person. He has a couple of right hands. I'm one of the other right hands. So.
Well, I'm very impressed with you guys, Dr. Taborn. It was a pleasure meeting you. And
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
I think we should talk. I agree. We should talk more. I have some ideas. But this is very transformative. We're talking to many countries, many agencies, co-location centers, other cities. We have a huge opportunity, and I think you guys can be a big part of that. Every city I go in, I can take you guys, and you know.
Absolutely.
And
okay, we will
Okay.
talk. Okay.
All righty. I'll get us all connected. Thank you, Daryl. Thanks, Sterling. Thanks,
Thank
Dr. Taborn.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.